Today I will be listing my top 25 roller coasters that I have ridden, and I know some people may not agree with my list, but I think it's a pretty good list. And I have ridden some out of the United States and out of, different states. So I hope you enjoy this list, and let's get started.
All I need is 10 more minutes with you. Let me give it a one last shot. Will I ever get through to you?
Number 25, Ridden. Ridden was one of my favorite floor coasters I've ridden. It pulls some forces in its first loop. The layout is actually really good and it used to be formerly known as Mantis. And I really love this ride, and it has a lot of different characteristics to it. The blue, the orange and green color scheme that it has is amazing and immaculate. I love the way it rides through this track. And that mid-course that it has does not slow you down at all. This is why I love it. And this ride, honestly, has some minor airtime moments and pulls some good forces. Number 24, Mystic Timbers. One of my favorite DCIs ever that I've ridden so far. I really love it. It's got I love the airtime that you get on it, and it's like relentless from start to finish. It really has a great pacing through its layout, and it has some of the best airtime you'll find on one of these GCI coasters. It really has the best theming too that I've seen for a Cedar Fair coaster, and it really is one of the best that I've seen around. And just the airtime you get off of this thing, I can't stop saying about that. I love the airtime, and it's great. And also the shed, it kind of let me down, but it's pretty cool because it gives you shade, and you get to sit in the shade. I'm not complaining. Number 23, The Beast, also at Kingside. My favorite part about this coaster is at the very end, the double helix, and it pulls. I really like it. I really like it because you get to go so far back in the woods, and you go farther than. It's one of the biggest coasters in the park. It's the longest wooden. It was known for the longest wooden coaster in the world because it has a ride duration of 5 minutes. Really love this ride, and nostalgia reasons, that's why it's at number 25. It really has a spot in my heart because it was one of the first wooden coasters I've ridden, and I love it from start to finish. It doesn't stop. Number 22, Hades 360. This ride is amazing, honestly. I love that the inversion right after you get out of that tunnel, and the tunnel has actually some weird moments in it where you actually go sideways and bake 90 degrees. It's a very fun ride, very fast paced, and it really has different characteristics, like also those Timberliner trains that are on it. Immaculate. I love those trains because you can get airtime with them, and you get a lot of different things that you wouldn't feel, for example, on a PTC train or something like that. I really love it. Number 21, The Voyage at Holiday World. I love this ride. The airtime you get off that first hill is amazing. It really does have a good pacing on it. It goes right next to one of their other coasters that I like, Thunderbird. I love the way that this ride goes back. Can't wait for freaking Hollywood Nights so I can go back and ride this thing with no trims, because that brake run does trim pretty hard, but it's very fast paced, goes deep into the woods like the Beast. Love this ride, and it's amazing the way in its layouts with those turns. They actually get you pretty sideways. Everything about this ride is amazing, and it's an ultimate wooden coaster to me. Number 20, Mako. Mako was a really cool experience, honestly. I feel like the airtime though isn't as strong as you would get on rides like Diamondback or, you know, other rides like Goliath. I really do love the layout though. It's amazing. You do get airtime though, and it really has a great pace to its layout. It's a really good ride overall. The one thing I do not like about this ride though is that mid course. It just slows you down too much, and I'd like this thing to be more fully paced throughout the ride. Honestly, it's got a strong layout, and the one killing part for me is that last turn around the water. I feel like they could have done like something better. Team Banshee at Kings Island. I absolutely love this ride. The forces are amazing. It's known for being the longest inverted coaster, and it really screams out. Literally screams out. This ride, people may say it has a rattle. Honestly, whenever I rode it in 2020 and this year, has not had a rattle. It's amazing. It's a great ride. The loops, everything, all of the inversions are intense on it. I love the way this thing is paced. And honestly, Kings Island should do more additions like Banshee in the future to their, well, Cedar Fair, sorry, should do more. Number 18 is Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster. I love the layout of these Raptors. I think you get some good airtime off that first drop in the back row, because ejector. I mean, who doesn't love ejector? It feels like you're gonna fly out this train the whole time you're going through this ride. Incredibly fast pace. I love this thing. The thing I rank it over Railblazer for is the quarry wall, because you get to fly like super close to it. It really has a great layout, and I can't wait to ride Jersey Devil, which is going to be a brother or sister, I guess, to this beautiful ride model, and I love these rides, honestly. Number 17, Blue Fire. I love these rides. I mean, it ain't what I expected out of it the first time I rode it, but I really like that you get some airtime on it. The inversions are okay. They're not as intense as, say, Banshee or other rides, but it's pretty nicely paced. I mean, but you know, the Mach launches, you think they're gonna be fast, but they really aren't that fast. I do like the theme that they do at the beginning of it. The pre-show is amazing. And that's about it for this ride. This ride, it has some weird moments. I do like the rock theming that they did around it, and yeah, it's got some cool elements on it. Number 16, Silver Star at Europa Park, great B&M Hypercoaster. It's got a beautiful layout on it, and I love how it rides above the parking lot. So that's like the first thing you see whenever you go to Europa Park. From the parking lot, you get to see this beautiful B&M coaster fly above your head and soar around you. And even like the color scheme of it, the gray, I really like the gray. You know, some of these B&M Hypers have these very vibrant color schemes, and really I like the toned down color scheme. It really sets the mood for the coaster, like you're flying through outer space. And this helix is amazing because the forces you pull through it, you actually pull some good forces. Airtime is great. I love the way this thing rides. It's so smooth. Number 15, El Toro. One of my favorite wooden coasters ever. I mean, this is an Intamin prefab. It's got a sister at Hyde Park called Colossus. I would love to go ride that. Whenever I was in Europe, I just honestly didn't have the chance to. Anyways, for this Intamin prefab, it's an amazing drop. It's got the beautiful, beautiful airtime hills on them. I think that's what this thing is known for, is those strong airtime moments. This thing is incredibly fast-paced. It runs through its layout. It has some of the best moments I've seen on a wooden coaster ever. This thing is the top dog whenever it comes to wooden coasters. These prefabs are nothing to really be messed with. You can't really doubt them ever. Number 14, Goliath at Six Flags Great America. This ride has the greatest layout I've seen for a wooden coaster by RMC, even though Outlaw Runs is better, but this thing is incredibly fast-paced. This thing has some good hang time on it from the 0G stall, which is amazing. I love the hang time you get on. I wish I could go ride Zadra right now because it has a pretty big stall on it. I mean, the twists, the turns, everything about this ride is amazing. Number 13, Goliath at Six Flags over Georgia. This thing is a great beam airtime is strong on this thing. You pull so much forces on this thing, it's unbelievable. The G-forces are amazing. Everything you pull some nice G's, and this helix has some of the best moments I've seen of G's. You basically, that trim, and it slows you down quite a bit. I do not like that trim. They should probably take that out. This thing with its turn is amazing. It has so much movement. It's kind of unbelievable to think about this ride. It's like so fast paced. A beautiful, nice layout that I've seen for these B&M Hypers. Number 12, Outlaw Run. I love this ride. Absolutely great moments. This ride is amazing. It's kind of rough, but really ain't that bad. It's definitely its smoother sister is Lightning Rod. Beautiful layout too. The drop gives you some airtime in the back row. That's the best row on this ride, in my opinion. You get whipped around a lot, and it's like you're on a staple chase or something, is what it's themed around, and it really does feel like that. You are flying, you get so much airtime, it's unbelievable. These freaking overbanks are amazing. It really twists you out of your seat and makes you feel like you're gonna fly out. Double barrel roll hangs you, and I love it. But it's quite a short ride, honestly. Number 11, Diamondback at Kings Island. Honestly, one of my favorite I've ever seen. I love this hyper. You get so much airtime off of that first drop in the back row. It ejects you. It really does have one of the best layouts I've seen for a B&M Hyper. And it towers over the park just like Orion does. It really sets the mood like you're on a snake as you're flying back into the woods and twisting and turning. It's got a cool out and back layout. It's hammerhead, pretty intense. Those airtime hills are best floater moments on this ride. It really speaks out for itself. Number 10, Flight of Fear. I do really like these rides. They have some nice G's. They pull some G's on these layouts, and it's a premier spaghetti bowl coaster, and inside the building. The only reason why I have this ranked above Diamondback is because the inside, I feel like it offers more for its layout, and it's more like it hangs you too, and it like really likes to throw you around. And this thing has some amazing hanging and slow moments. It makes you feel like you're flying around in outer space, and really has a good layout. It's got an incredible corkscrew in it too. This ride nobody really talks about and ranks it very low. I mean, it really is a pretty good ride. Number 9, Mindblower at Fun Spot America. One of my favorite Timberliner or gravity group rides I've ever ridden. It really is. It's got some amazing airtime on it. It's got, the inversion really does hang you, and nobody really talks about it, how good it really is. It flies through this layout. It's one of the best rides I've ridden personally, and I love this thing. It really has some great moments on it, and yeah, it may be short, but it's sweet. Number 8, Top Thrill Dragster. I really do love this ride. It gives you some great airtime over that top hat, and nobody really talks about how this ride is. I mean, I only know one person who kind of fanboys over the ride, but, you know, it's actually a really good ride, but everybody just overlooks it because it only goes up into a top hat and down. But nobody really appreciates how much work has gone into these intimate accelerator coasters. And I hope more people will start to realize it takes a lot of engineering skill for these rides to be built. Top Thrill Dragster is one of the best I've seen. I mean, everybody prefers King the Cow, but those over-shoulders restraints, I feel like they're just very restrictive, and they don't let you move like these T-bar restraints. And everybody like just forgets about it. Number 7, Intimidator 305. This ride is very fast and very nice pace. It really has a great layout on it, and everybody says it's too intimidating, which it really isn't that intimidating. You just gotta get over the fear. It really has a nice layout on it, and nobody really appreciates this ride. And the reason why it has no line is because everybody's scared of it, because it's too intimidating, as people say. It's got a great layout on it, and everybody's just doubts this ride. I mean, it really is a good ride. If you're an enthusiast, you get what I mean. This ride has some great airtime on the hill. Coming over that first hill, that first drop, it really does give you airtime. And I did gray out at the bottom of that drop, so it really is pretty intense. Number 6, Orion at Kings Island. This thing is a great giga. People underrate it because of they say it's not a giga because it's 287 feet tall, but it does have a drop of 300 feet, so it technically is a giga. I mean, first drop, amazing, like any giga's first drop. This thing has some speed on it, and it has a speed hill on it that really takes you by surprise. You don't even know it's really there. You get amazing airtime off of one of the last hills. The Orion spell is what they call it, and it's really intense moments. And I don't know why people underrate this thing. It really is a great giga, and you get so much speed off of it. Number 5, Fury 325. This thing is amazing. I do love this ride. It's so intense from the start to the finish. This thing has one of the fastest speeds I've ever seen. This thing flies through its layout. It really does, and everybody loves this ride, and I know why, because it really is a great ride from start to finish off that lift hill. The treble clef element, I really love this ride to get airtime off of it from the back, and I love flying under this bridge and seeing the gas. It really does it makes them want to go ride it, and it makes everybody else want to go ride it, so you can just see that you're flying under people. It really does. It's an intense ride, and I love this ride for everybody. Number 4, Lightning Rod at Dollywood. This thing is fast. Off that lift hill, it flies. Everybody is like, it's kind of rough. I mean, yeah, it is kind of rough, but with the retrack that they did in 2021, it really has the best. It's running the best that it has ever ran. It's got intense moments on its sideways ejector. It's got an amazing element called the quad down, and this thing has some great airtime off of it. It flies down 4 times and 4 moments of non-stop airtime, and it really is a great layout. Coming over that quad down, you really do get ejected in any row that you sit in from the right, even the front row. And it flies around this beautiful turn, and it's amazing. Number 3, Terradat Fantasia and at Fantasia Land. This thing is fast, intense, and ejector galore on this ride. You fly through scenery theming. It really is fun because it's like you're flying through a town. It really is got a nice layout for Intamin. It has a great first launch. That first launch is actually pretty nice. You fly through these rocks by these weird tower shaped rocks. The second launch is super intense, and you fly all the way up to the top, and it gets you a great aerial view of the village or whatever the setting is really for this ride. It flies. It really does. It comes through. It really interacts with the paths too. Number 2, Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure. This thing is intense. I love this ride. It literally gives you so much moments that nobody talks about. Even the first house, everybody's like, the first house is poorly paced. I'm like, it really isn't poorly paced. It actually runs super great through it. It runs awesome. It's brand new. And luckily, most people don't get to ride this because it isn't open yet. But I was luckily able to be there for technical rehearsals. The second launch is even more intense. Flying over that top hat, you get great ejector in the back, and some nice floater in the front. You hang through a 0G stall, which I love those. Those elements are so fun, and nobody really talks about how fun they are. You get a lot of twists, outward ejector. And for number 1, Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. I think everybody saw this coming. This ride is amazing. It's the best coaster I've ridden to date. I love this thing. I was gonna rank Velocicoaster above it, but no, I realized that this thing just has an overall great layout, and it hangs you too. At some moments, even though you fly through mid-course brake run, and it really doesn't even trim you. You literally just keep going through it and don't stop. This ride is so intense, and it really does give you great airtime. It's got the most airtime in the world at 27 seconds. It's got some of the greatest elements I've seen on the RMC to date. Airtime, like I said, amazing, immaculate. Nobody can top the airtime that you get off this ride. Thank you guys for watching, and have a nice day.
All I need is 10 more minutes, 10 more minutes with you. Let me give it a one last shot. Will I ever get through to you?